So I found this post on the Pokey Investing subreddit that I wanted to share with you all. Here somebody's asking for some thoughts about collection boxes, should they hold or sell. Now I think this is a very interesting video to make and talk about because there's a lot of misconceptions with investing into collection boxes, and it's a pretty polarizing subject in this whole space. You can get varying opinions about investing in collection boxes, but generally lots of people say stay away. Now there are some reasons for that I agree with, but there's also just some huge misconceptions with investing in collection boxes. I want to show you guys some evidence here about collection boxes that prove some of those things to be wrong, and I wanted to talk about that here in this video. Now, I used to invest into a lot of collection boxes. Now I don't. Obviously, recently I had some binder collections, but they're all gone. Those were more of a shorter term play. But long term, I don't have at this point, I believe, any collection boxes. I have all just ETBs. Booster boxes and some other various products, but really no collection boxes, and there's a reason for that, but I'll explain the things about collection boxes, the good and the bad, and you guys can decide what is best for you. But I guess here first I want to talk about why people gravitate towards investing into collection boxes. It's really new people that usually gravitate towards investing into collection boxes, and there's, I believe, two big reasons. The first reason why a lot of people gravitate towards collection boxes, especially when they're new, is the price point. So speaking about MSRP, I know MSRP, sort of a meme, but there is some validity to talking about MSRP with collection boxes. So back then, right? If you went into a Walmart or a Target and you weren't considered a scalper back then when the market wasn't going crazy, usually you're going to see collection boxes at these stores, maybe some tins. They don't sell booster boxes at Walmarts and Targets. So you can just go into a Walmart, Target, pay MSRP retail for the collection box, and the MSRP for these collection boxes, whether it be a normal collection box, a premium collection box, usually it varies anywhere from about $20 to $60. So it's a very affordable price point, affordable amount for people to just go inside of a store and buy it. So that's a big reason why I feel like it's just very popular amongst new people. Is you can just go into the store, pay $20 to $60, and you have a sealed product and you can sit on it. So I think that's a big reason why a lot of people first gravitate towards it is because of the price point and the ease of buying it. And the second reason is I believe a lot of investors come from a collecting background. That's where I came from. I first started just collecting, and then I found this investing space, and that's how a lot of people I feel like started investing, is through collecting. And collection boxes, is kind of in the name, you could say, but they're pretty cool. Collection boxes, you can display them. There's different artworks on the box, different promos, maybe different pins, those sorts of things. So it's a nice display piece. So having a variety of collection boxes you can sort of display, as you can sort of see here in this picture, this person has a variety, like pretty much one of each collection box here. It's sort of just collecting, a multitude of different boxes. So I feel like those are like two huge reasons why people gravitate towards collection boxes, especially if you're new. It's for those two reasons. But now talking about, I guess, the misconceptions with investing into collection boxes. So I guess maybe before I even talk about the misconceptions, let's talk about what people argue against collection boxes. So the big thing here that a lot of people say is that they don't appreciate as well as booster boxes, as ETBs, those, big products, the, I guess you could say blue chip products, right? The main products, they don't appreciate as well, and they take up a lot of space. Now, I do agree that they take up a lot of space, a lot more than a booster box and ETB. I think it's pretty obvious in terms of surface area. They take up a lot more space. So storage could be a problem if you're doing it at a large scale, which is why I stopped investing in the collection boxes. It's going to you got to think about the value here. A lot of these collection boxes, like I said, $20 to $60. Okay, if you're investing tens of thousands of dollars, if you're in the six figures, your whole room is going to be filled with collection boxes, and it's just the amount of value for square or cubic feet or whatever you want to say. It's not that high versus a booster box. It's very small. It has a lot of value because it's just packs. So there is that validity of that argument against collection boxes. It takes up a lot of space. So if you're doing a large scale, you're taking a lot of room, and you could have just just buying booster boxes, and it's much easier to store, and you don't need as much room to store them. So that's a very valid argument against collection boxes. Also that being said, shipping, them being bigger, your profit margins are going to be a little bit worse if you're having to ship them. So there are arguments, right, that are valid where they take up more space. But here's the argument I'm going to make, I guess, rebuttaling people saying that they can't appreciate as well. So here's the thing with collection boxes. It truly is a big thing with collection boxes, of what is inside the collection box besides the packs, right? I mean, obviously, if you can get the packs for a good price buying the sealed box, I mean, already you're doing good. I think we all know that, right? Like, for example, like Blooming Waters, people say if you can buy under the loose pack price, you're doing well. I mean, that's obvious. But other than that, right, in terms of appreciation and premiums in the long term, a big key factor is what is inside the collection box besides the packs. The promo, is it a nice looking promo? Is there some sort of thing inside the box that's sought after that's really going to bring the premium to these collection boxes? It really depends on what is inside it besides the packs. And some of these collection boxes can do extremely well, and I'm going to show you guys just a few examples here of some of the collection boxes this person has that's done extremely well. But it can also be said, like, where if you have a collection box, let's say that's not very good. Let's use an example here. Maybe a poster collection box. Maybe what is some other example here that I can give that's not really that great of a collection box? Maybe this Decidui or this Pikachu V. Like, the promos in here are not that sought after. The Infernape V, the Electrode V, Virizion V. These types of boxes, if you look at the promos, they're just normal sort of V cards. They're not that sought after, and you're just buying the box for the packs. So the premium on those types of boxes, yeah, you could argue, yeah, for those, most likely the premiums are not going to be as good as, let's say, a booster box. But like I said, if it has good stuff inside of the collection box besides the packs, they can perform extremely well. And actually, if you do the math and percentage gains, it can be just as good as a booster box. But you do have to consider the fact, yes, if you ship it, you're gonna be taking more of your profits away with shipping. But I'm just gonna give you guys some examples here of just some of them, and there's plenty of other examples in here, but just some of the things this person has in their collection here that has performed extremely well if you bought it at retail, and that's what we're gonna base it off of. And just to do some percentages, you guys will see how much percentage wise some of these have really grown. So let's just do this. The first one here down the bottom left, I spotted a mythical squishy premium collection box. Now this is a very nice, cool looking box. So it retailed for about $50, and you can see right now it is going for about $200. So this going for about $200, it's seen a 4x. Now, if you really think about it, okay, there are some Sword and Shield booster boxes, like for example, Chilling Reign, Brilliant Stars, that are right now about in the low to mid 500s. So MSRP for Sword and Shield booster boxes is $144 roughly, right? Those have roughly 4x, just like this. So you can use this as an example of, okay, I mean, it has appreciated maybe just as well as some other ones, obviously not as well as maybe like a Lost Origin, a Fusion Strike, but there are some examples of products, collection boxes performing just as well as some booster boxes. So this is just one example here, and we can keep moving on. The Evolution, you can see they have these Evolution VMAX premium collection boxes. These have very nice promos. You can see they were anywhere from $50 to $60. I believe they were, I think, $60, but it doesn't make a big difference with what I'm trying to show you guys here. They're going for about each $300. So what is that from, like, $50 to $60? Anywhere from a 5 to like 6x. So you can just see here, how lucrative some collection boxes can be if the promo, if the Pokemon is popular, how well you can actually do. And moving on here, the Celebrations box. I remember I bought a ton of these back then. I did sell them, because they had an Evolving Skies pack. Some of these collection boxes, even back then, were great deals because you could get a pack that was pretty expensive. But you can see here they have the Lance's Charizard V box right there, and you can see these were going for $20. And you can see here, if you go on eBay, they're going for $100. So you can see you 5x'd if you bought at retail. Now, the last example here is the Pikachu and Zekrom premium collection box. So this was retailing for $50, but there was a deal that I actually took advantage of at the time, where you could have bought these for $30 at GameStop. So it was pretty crazy, but using just the normal price, $50, you still could have 4 to 5 extra money on this premium collection box. Like I said, not even considering you could have bought them for $30 on Black Friday. If you guys know, that deal was around, back then. So That's, I think, enough evidence to show you guys you can do well investing into collection boxes. There's nothing wrong with doing so, and a lot of people do it because of the price point. $20 to $60 is a lot more of an affordable price point for people, especially if you're new to investing, and it's kind of a cool way to invest because you get a nice looking box you can put on your shelf rather than maybe just a normal ETB or booster box where there's not as much design, not as much going on, but they do take up more space. So what I will say is mainly this: if you're doing investing at a large scale, you can still buy some collection boxes, right? But if you're trying to be efficient, yeah, collection boxes are probably not the best way to go. Generally, yes, I would agree. But if you're a smaller investor, if you're not investing a huge amount of money, collection boxes, if you can pick the right one and you have a good eye for what a good collection box is, you can do extremely well. But a price point of investing really does matter. Obviously, if you're buying them right now, maybe it's not the best investment compared to maybe a booster box. If you're buying a collection box at $300 versus booster box at $500, the appreciation in the long term for the booster box may be better. But if you can buy these at a good price point, especially back then, I don't think there's anything wrong investing in collection boxes. Just the biggest thing is, yes, the space. That's the biggest thing. So if you're, like I said, doing it at a large scale, that could turn into a problem. It looks like this person just buys one of each collection box, and hey, it's a nice way of collecting too. You could say just getting one of each thing. But yes, generally speaking, booster boxes, ETBs, and the more tried and true sort of main products to invest into. But don't let anyone tell you that you can't make any money off of collection boxes, because some of these collection boxes, sometimes they come out with some packs that are older that they put into these collection boxes. An example would be the Arceus V figure collection box that had a Cosmic Eclipse pack. This was during Sword and Shield it came out. Some collection boxes have a good pack selection, and you couple that with maybe a good promo, you get a very good product. But there also is a thing to be said. Maybe liquidity. These don't sell as much as booster boxes or ETBs, maybe at higher price points. But just generally speaking, yes, collection boxes aren't the best thing ever, but you can do still extremely well if you invest into the right stuff. So let's just read some of the comments here. They take up too much space and don't appreciate like other items. I really hope you aren't storing those like that for long. Those boxes can crush. You literally have ones on the bottom holding up the weight they were never intended to handle. Yeah, they have some boxes down here that might be getting crushed, like these boxes down here, these like GX boxes or whatever. So yeah, probably don't want to stack this high. I never recommend collection boxes 99% of the time. This is like my pokey investing nightmare. Having lost grip and flaps all open. Yeah, so sometimes, yeah, the flaps do open, but I never really had a problem with that, but it happens sometimes. I think they're cool, even if they take up too much space. They're great time capsule of an era they were released in. That being said, please store them better. I'm sure there's some nice cards trapped under all that packaging. Very nice and all, but it looks like it's taking over your life. Will never increase like a booster box, but they are 100% better than not investing at all. Yeah, so some people here have some valid takes and stuff. Yeah, this person definitely should probably store them a bit better than just leaving them like this. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to do it at a larger scale, I would just stick to booster boxes. But if you're trying to just invest small amounts of money into Pokemon, collection boxes could be a fun way to do it. But that's my take on the collection boxes. I think they can do fine, but investing, I would say probably stay away from these types of collection boxes, like these regular V boxes, unless you can get the price per pack lower than the loose pack price. But these other ones that have nice promos. For example, there's one that some people are speculating on right now, the Victini box from Black and White. That could do extremely well in the long term because of the promo. The collection boxes, definitely like the appreciation, it really is dependent on, like I said, the other factors other than the packs, the promo, whatever else is in there. And if you get a good product, you can do really well. But personally, you guys know me, I don't invest into them anymore for a reason. Obviously, I'm doing this at a bigger scale than I used to, so that's why I just have moved on. But for you guys out there that are new, don't let anyone tell you that it's bad, but you just have to have a better eye for what is a good collection box and be a little bit more selective rather than like a booster box, because it does take up more space. So that's all I want to say in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.